In the ravaged streets of New Eden, where the last remnants of humanity clung to existence, a lone figure emerged from the toxic haze. Rachel's eyes, like two chips of polished quartz, scanned the desolate landscape as she navigated the rubble-strewn alleys. The hiss of her respirator was the only sound that broke the stillness, a constant reminder of the poisonous air that had devoured the planet. Her thoughts were a jumble of fragmented memories, a patchwork of images that refused to cohere. Rachel's past was a puzzle with missing pieces, but one thing she knew: she was different. The others, those who had adapted to the new environment, regarded her with suspicion and fear. They whispered of her curse, an immunity to the atmospheric toxins that had wiped out most of humanity. As she turned a corner, Rachel spotted a makeshift market, a tangle of scavenged goods and black market wares. She had heard rumors of a rogue scientist, hiding in the shadows, who peddled forbidden knowledge to the desperate. Rachel's gut twisted with a mix of hope and trepidation as she pushed through the crowd. Her eyes locked on the stall of the mysterious Dr. Zarek. Dr. Zarek's Emporium of Wonders was a cramped, dimly lit alcove, adorned with flickering candles and dusty artifacts that seemed to hold secrets of their own. Rachel's gaze was drawn to a centerpiece of artifacts, a collection of ancient computer components, their metal casings etched with cryptic symbols. The air was heavy with the scent of ozone and burning copper. Dr. Zarek, a gaunt figure with sunken eyes, greeted Rachel with an air of detached curiosity. "You're the one they call cursed, aren't you?" His voice was a low, gravelly whisper, like the rustling of dry leaves. "I've heard you're immune to the great devourer's kiss." Rachel's hand instinctively went to the silver pendant around her neck, a token from a life she couldn't remember. "What do you want from me, doctor?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Want?" Dr. Zarek's smile was a macabre contortion of lips. "I want to understand. You see, my research suggests that your condition is not a fluke. It's a key, Rachel. A key to unlocking the secrets of this poisoned world. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to unlock that secret." As Dr. Zarek's words hung in the air, Rachel felt a shiver crawl up her spine. She sensed that she was standing at the edge of a precipice, staring into an abyss of unfathomable horror, and that the doctor's words were merely a gentle breeze that preceded a maelstrom of unspeakable terror. Rachel's instincts screamed at her to flee, to abandon this forsaken place and its mad scientist. But her feet seemed rooted to the spot, as if bound by invisible chains. Dr. Zarek's hands, long and spindly like a spider's legs, reached for a nearby console. The air was heavy with anticipation as he initiated a sequence of cryptic commands. The machinery surrounding them whirred to life, casting an eerie glow over the cramped space. "Behold, Rachel," Dr. Zarek whispered, his eyes aglow with an unholy fervor. "The Omega Initiative, a gateway to the forbidden knowledge that will remake our world in our image." A holographic display flickered to life, casting a spectral glow over the room. Rachel's vision blurred as she gazed upon the swirling patterns, her mind reeling from the implications. This was no mere device, it was a portal to the very fabric of reality. "What have you done?" Rachel whispered, her voice lost in the growing din of machinery. Dr. Zarek's laughter was a dry, mirthless sound, like the rustling of ancient parchment. "I've merely taken the first step towards rebirth. And you, Rachel, are the key that will unlock the gates of paradise, or unleash a horror beyond human comprehension." As the machine's hum grew louder, Rachel felt the air thicken around her, like a noose tightening around her throat. The holographic display pulsed with an otherworldly energy, casting an eerie glow on the surrounding walls. The symbols etched into the ancient computer components seemed to shift, rearranging themselves in a maddening dance. Dr. Zarek's eyes gleamed with an unholy fervor as he reached out to Rachel, his bony fingers closing around her wrist like a vice. "The time of revelation is upon us," he hissed, his breath cold against her ear. "The secrets of the cosmos will soon be ours to command." Rachel's vision began to blur, the room spinning around her like a mad carnival. She felt herself being pulled toward the heart of the machine, as if an unseen force was drawing her into the vortex of its power. Suddenly, the air was filled with an unearthly scream, a sound that defied the laws of physics and shattered the fragile bounds of sanity. Rachel's mind reeled as the machine's energy surged, piercing her very soul like a rusty scalpel. In that moment, she knew that Dr. Zarek had unleashed a terror beyond human comprehension, a horror that would never be silenced. The Omega Initiative had become a portal to the abyss, and Rachel was being pulled inexorably toward its dark, gaping maw. As the scream reached a deafening crescendo, Rachel's world dissolved into a maelstrom of colors, a kaleidoscope of horrors that defied comprehension. Her mind was a fragile vessel, shattering beneath the weight of the unseen forces that Dr. Zarek had unleashed. The machinery's hum grew louder still, a cacophony of torment that threatened to consume her very essence. Rachel's vision fragmented, her gaze fixed on the swirling patterns of light that danced before her. The symbols etched into the ancient components seemed to pulse with an otherworldly power, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling before her eyes. Dr. Zarek's laughter, a maddening cackle, echoed through the chamber, mingling with the cacophony of horrors that assailed her senses. Rachel's thoughts were a jumble of terror, her consciousness torn asunder by the eldritch forces that lurked beyond the veil of sanity. And then, in the heart of the maelstrom, Rachel saw it, a glimpse of the abyssal horror that lurked beyond the portal, a creature of unspeakable malevolence that defied human understanding. The vision was fleeting, yet it seared itself into her mind like a branding iron, leaving an indelible mark of terror that would haunt her forevermore. As the machine's energy reached a fever pitch, Rachel's world went dark, consumed by the very abyss that Dr. Zarek had unleashed. The last sound she heard was the doctor's maniacal laughter, echoing through the void, as the Omega Initiative cast her into the depths of madness,